Morning, welcome back. We're looking at Romans 12, verse 3 today, and this is Paul speaking about the balanced Christian life in a spiritual sense. So this is not balanced in the sense that the same amount of God and then the same amount of the world. No, it's speaking about how to live a balanced Christian life and being spiritual. So verse 3, for I say through the grace given unto me to every man that is among you, not to think more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly according as God has dealt to every man the measure of faith. So that portion is speaking about something very important in the context of the local church. Believers are meant to operate within the local church. The New Testament is very clear on that. I looked it up. It's about the apostolic epistles, the writings of the apostles. About 75% of them makes no sense or loses all meaning or loses most meaning if not understood in the context of the local church. So yeah, many people love to say, where does it say in the New Testament that you should go to a local church? Well, about 75% of the apostles' writings make zero sense or very little sense if they're not understood in the environment of the local church. But anyways, this verse 3, I think the quickest way to become a toxic believer, and I don't use that term a lot, but I just want to warn all of our hearts with that, is to judge my own function by another brother's or sister's capacity. I see how someone prays and I say, geez, why can't I pray like she can? And something is wrong with me. And Paul here is saying, God has dealt every believer a specific measure of faith. You have your measure of faith. I have mine. That sister, that brother, we all have our measure of faith, and they are not the same, and that's okay. We're not talking about saving faith, of course. Here we're talking about more about the spiritual capacity and like a fuel tank. Okay. That has been given to us for a specific purpose in the body of Christ. And, God has not given the same measure to everyone. And that makes sense. In 1 Corinthians 12 and 14, there's the picture of the body of Christ, the church being members of the body. And God, who has made the church, has not given the same amount of faith to a finger as to let's say to a lung, okay, or to an eye. And why should he have? I mean it doesn't make any sense. But I can become really a strange Christian if I fall into this trap and I try to reshape myself into the shape of someone else's faith or spirituality. I force my life into that shape that which God has not designed for me. And I think this is a great way, well, this is a terrible way, but it's a great way to a burnout as a believer. And I'm trying to, it's not that I'm doing too much for God. I'm just doing the things that are not for me to do. I don't have the faith for them really, because God has given me faith for something else. But I want to be like that, or I want to be like that. So I just want to encourage you, when you look at a brother or sister who is ahead of you in the faith, where do you feel behind or lacking, or you compare yourself, and then ask yourself, why am I comparing myself? It's like God has given me a measure of faith, and that's mine, and she has hers, and he has his, and that's okay. That's how it should be. I should walk in what I have received, and that's my place. So just a little bit of encouragement for today. God bless you.